Hello and welcome to Pankration Philosophy, Episode 4, still going strong. Forza. My name is Pocholo Cruz, and this is my friend and co-host
Scott McDonald. That's me, eating Subway, fresh. Shout out to Jared. Psych.
No
shout out to Jared.
Shout out to Jared.
My boy Jared doing really. What did he do, bro? Child molestation? Oh, dear God. I don't shout out Jared.
No, let's not shout out Jared.
I thought he got drunk and was running around somewhere naked.
No. You're thinking of that's the Kofi guy. Wait.
Oh yeah. Coney.
Yeah, that was
Coney's children.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, that was the Joseph Coney guy. But
let that be a lesson to anyone who wants to help third world countries and get involved in their conflict to solve them. You'll probably end up drunk, running around butt ass naked.
Yeah, in the middle of California for some reason.
Don't help anyone but yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take care of anybody. Consume as much resources as you need to.
Yeah. We're also
Subway sandwich.
Yeah, we also don't condone child pornography.
No, we don't condone it at all.
Yeah.
And just to show you how selfish I am, we have Ender here who literally shoots this show and edits it in his free time. We don't pay him shit.
No, I get 10 cents.
No, I'm taking away your 10 cents. You're back to you're back to intern
we
status.
literally pay him in pennies, but it's okay. It's not like he has any dates to go on.
No, it probably won't happen for the next 25 years. But
At this rate.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us. So right now the date is April 8th, 2018. So the day before, we just watched UFC 223.
The show that almost didn't happen.
It really probably should not have happened. So the main event was supposed to be Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson, which then became 6 days out Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Max Holloway. And then the weigh-in the day before became Khabib versus Anthony Pettis.
And then it became Khabib versus Paul Felder, which then became Khabib versus Al Iaquinta.
Yep, Raging Al. Raging real estate agent.
You guys might have noticed Al from the show Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
He was on there in a couple scenes.
Face popping.
Jim Laundry Tan.
Yeah.
You know?
That GTL life.
But yeah. And then we had Rose Namajunas, the champ, Doug Rose, versus Joanna Jacek. Jacek. And yeah, those were the two big ones.
Yep.
There's other ones that are, there's two fights that I only really cared about on that card.
Yeah.
And that was
talking about Grits and Gravy.
Grits and Gravy versus Joe Lozon.
Oh man.
And then
Zabit Magomed Sharapov. Another Dagestan
how do you say that again?
Magomed Sharapov.
Yeah. Zabit Magomed Sharapov.
Magomedov.
Anyway, Zabit really did his thing. And who'd he fight?
He fight Kyle Boschnick.
He fought guys with a whole bunch of crazy last names. Boschnick versus Zabit.
That's true, looking at all the last names of this. Well, yes.
Yeah, man.
And Zabit looking like Dagestani Abe Lincoln, skinny Wolverine. What would you call him, Moses?
He looked like Moses. He
parted the waters.
He looked like what's Christian Bale from The Machinist?
With a beard.
But in all honesty,
I tell you, man, he's Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunter. That's why there's no vampires in Dagestan.
Yeah, the guy's like 6'2", fighting at 145, and I don't know if any of the viewers, you guys probably do have a tall friend, but when you have someone who's significantly taller than you and they're also really lean, it's just scary to be around them, just because they're so awkward and gangly. It's like.
But then that's the thing. When he moves, he doesn't move like an awkward gangly.
No, he moves like a really quick athlete, dynamic, like striking. Like it seems like he kind of has like Taekwondo style striking.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to just put him in that box because he also has good Western boxing.
Yeah, he had good Thai boxing, especially inside boxing. Even when so his opponent Boschnick was trying to get inside, he was still getting clipped with like left hooks and like tight like uppercuts and.
Shout out to Boschnick, man, because that guy did not quit.
No. And he took some bombs too. Like there were a lot of opportunities. Like he was not only he wasn't just getting tooled striking. He was then getting taken down with some ridiculous.
He got
some right here.
Oh,
some ridiculous takedown was that?
For like 10 minutes. Just,
Why didn't you guys just leave it for the rest of the show? That would have been awesome. That would have been me. We would have got Subway as a sponsorship
oh my god.
for this
I
podcast.
mean, they need one, because, you know.
Subway, it's just that saucy. You leave it on your chin. Is it gone?
Sponsor a Subway. Yes.
Scott McDonald, the face of Subway.
Exactly. That's how you know the shit's good if it's just dripping on your face.
Just drip.
Not the measurement I use.
Hey, I gotta say this before I forget.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna stand up.
Yeah.
I bought these jeans right here.
Yeah.
And these things are like super. Look, watch this. Look.
Wait, are they like action jeans?
No, they are.
Well, where did you get them?
I got them from Ross for
From
12
Ross?
bucks.
What are they,
So
what are they
what I
called?
went-
Action jeans?
And I'm gonna call them action jeans. I
Okay.
think UFC fighters should ban Valley Tudos, and then what they should also do is ban fight shorts, Muay Thai shorts, and then every fighter should fight in action jeans.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. I just had to say that because look how I can kick. Look at that.
That's good.
Look at my double knee, bro. Look at that.
Dude, that's a good tight double knee. And you would not think you could do that in those pants.
No, if these were
Yeah.
normal jeans, I would have
Yeah.
shaved my ball sack. It would have been brutal. I'm trying to look for a trash can.
Shout out to Action Jeans.
Shout out to Subway and Action Jeans.
Yeah.
If I came in today knowing that I would have filmed Scott kicking around in action jeans.
All right.
No, but
Am I
that was a real thing though in the '80s, like Chuck Norris Action Jeans.
Yeah.
You act as if I'd understand that.
No,
You know
that's why,
Chuck
that's why
Norris
I'm
is, though,
explaining. That's why I'm explaining not just to you, Ender, but to the audience
Oh
that
my
there were
God.
such a thing as Action Jeans.
Google it, viewers.
Yeah. And I feel it should happen.
All
you know,
6 of you and the one fan in Scandinavia. Lars, shout out to you, bro. Keep the donations
Keep
coming,
it
buddy.
going, Lars.
Keep it going, Lars.
Well, speaking of donations, we also have a Patreon page if you do want to support us and then maybe pay Ender. You know?
Yeah, that's
it'll
the
eventually
only
trickle
way
down
Ender will get paid.
Yep.
Is through donations from the community.
Donations from the community. That's Patreon, www.patreon.com/Pankration Philosophy. That's right. Maybe get Ender some money. Who knows?
Pay my date.
Let's get into these fights though. So we
Yeah.
talked about Zabit.
Yeah.
Great performance. That
Great
guy
performance.
is someone to watch out for in the
Showed
future.
so many aspects, you know, just like the fluidity on like we were talking about the fluidity of the striking, just throwing like stuff from the Matrix, and then be able to go seamlessly back into grappling, and then. I mean, he showed wrestling, showed like an amazing sweep. Like I still can't believe the timing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was like he turned himself sideways and with his lead leg,
Yeah.
he just swept out
yeah.
the base.
Boschnik.
He swept out Boschnik's base. and
Yeah,
he just totally,
which was incredible because that's hard. Try doing that on somebody who knows they're gonna do it to you, but doing it against somebody, especially against a guy who's like as tough as Boschnik, as we said, like Boschnik went through so much adversity and still did not quit throughout it was still trying to throw bombs like in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boschwick got spinning back kicked right in his dome too at the end of the third round because he was coming forward pretty quickly with like combos to the body and then coming up top, like traditional striking techniques that shorter opponents use against taller opponents. And he came forward and Zabit just gauged the distance and did the spinning kick, and it looked like it kicked him in the jaw.
Yeah.
We heard it. It was like,
Yeah.
but it was actually right in the chest. But yeah, Zabit called out Yair. That'd be a fun fight to watch. They're both dynamic strikers, and I think Zabit beats him though.
Yeah.
Because they also mentioned he was a freestyle wrestler, like champion freestyle
well,
wrestler.
I could see it. You could see it in his takedowns, because it's like Boschnik was a sturdy guy and had good balance, but Zabit was tossing around with the ease that you wouldn't think that somebody of his build could do.
Right.
Just like the explosion, the quickness, the technique. It was like it was all there. I mean, I think Yair Rodriguez would be a good opponent, or another good opponent. I think. Maybe really test where his wrestling's at, like against like a tough. If we're talking about toughness and seeing, because he kind of faded, towards the third, as good as he did.
He did. Yeah.
I want to see how he goes against someone who's extremely relentless, like Darren Elkins. Could you imagine that kind of matchup?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Or have him fight like Mendez, bro.
Oh man, but Mendez is still off, because he got didn't you know?
No, what
he got popped with PEDs. That's why he's been gone.
Oh, Mendez?
What?
No.
Alpha male?
Oh,
man.
no.
What?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, though.
You wouldn't say, but no, I think Mendez would be a nice option.
We don't know who brought PEDs to Alpha Male. Dillashaw.
Dillashaw.
Snake in the
Snake
fucking
in the
grass.
Yep.
So there's that. Now we had my boy Grits and Gravy. What was his last name again?
Grutzmeicher
versus Joe Lozon, the tested veteran of the UFC, who made his debut
12 years ago.
12 years ago and beat Jens Pulver. In the first round.
Yep.
But yeah, he looked good in the first round, Lozon did, but then he just got overwhelmed at mid-range. And it was interesting how Grits and Gravy was, I just like calling him Grits and Gravy, how Grits and Gravy was able to just control him at mid-range and just turn the fight into a clinch fight. He landed solid elbows up the middle, good body shots, and he just had superior positioning throughout the whole fight.
Yep.
And when you go back and watch the striking from Gritzman, like, it doesn't look like he's hitting him with these really hard shots, but it's actually the accumulation of
it's
shots.
The volume.
It's the volume
and the pressure. He never, once he got into that range, he was controlling him. He was either moving his head, getting a knee, getting some strikes. He never let Lozon get back into good positioning.
And Gritzman had a hell of a chin too.
Oh yeah.
But Lozon's never been known to be like a knockout artist. He did KO Pulver, but that was really kind of a...
He's really more of a blitz submission guy.
Yeah.
From there, but he just never got into good position.
No, Gritzman just
wore him down like a grinder.
Yeah, like very Carol.
Grinder.
Grits Gravy. If you don't know where that nickname comes from, you have to watch the Chappelle Show because Eddie Griffin. World Series of Dice.
Boy,
Eddie
Griffin. The goddamn dude.
He was seven. What did he say? He was like,
seven.
I bought my mama a house and I spent the rest on PCP.
And the commentators were like,
Gritzman was hitting Joe Lozon like he smoked a whole bunch of PCP before he came out there and fought. It was just that real. But no, I respect the mid-range game. And a fighter who has a chin and has good defense and can just continually do pressure like that is the type of fighter I admire because it's very AMC-esque. We have that style. I mean, we advocate head movement, circling, feints, but when we get into the clinch, we really want to dominate like that. So hats off to Guzman. Like, he said he really needed that win, and I look forward to watching him fight in the future. So now Pocholo is going to take over, and I'm just, because I didn't watch the two the main events, the main and the co-main event. I had to leave, was doing some other stuff, so yeah, I just want to hear your thoughts on it, bro.
Yeah, okay, so my thoughts on the Rose Namajunas and Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. So I believe the key thing from the first battle was really how Rose's control of the distance and her ability to get in and out, and then to make Joanna pay with boxing was the biggest thing for me. Like, she was able to I feel she was able to really make Joanna, who's a very accurate striker, really hit at air just with her feints and her movement. And I feel like Joanna made a good adjustment. Like, Joanna was still getting tagged, but I feel like one thing she tried to do in this fight was not get lulled into like stepping forward like so much like with her jab, because I feel like Rose is one of the rare opponents that Joanna has at strawweight who will have a longer reach than her.
Right.
Because Joanna's so used to being the taller, like lankier fighter. Like her opponents have been, Gadelia, Andrade, I mean even Esparza, like women significantly shorter than her and who aren't really known to be fluid strikers, or not to the point of as Joanna is. So I feel like that's how Rose was able to beat her in the first fight, and I feel like there's still shades of that in this fight. So even though Rose didn't put away Joanna, I still feel like her boxing was still there. What I didn't really like seeing from Rose though was that I feel Joanna made so with the scoring, they scored it 49-46. So they gave 4 rounds to Rose and then 1 round to Joanna. I would say that's probably like the 3rd round. That's where Joanna did her best. But I would actually say that, from my opinion, I would say that Joanna won the 3rd and the 4th, because that's where Joanna started accumulating like the leg kicks and Rose's movement. It could be a combination of like Rose's movement and also her cardio, just because of like her. I mean, it's a very how fights go. your cardio can wane. You're not going to be as explosive necessarily as you are in the first, like from there.
If I remember correctly, Rose has never been full 5, has she?
No, she's been, well, she has been to full 5 because she fought Van Zandt and Esparza in 5-round fights.
Oh, so she has 2 prior 5-round fights.
5-round fights, but in the against Carla Esparza, which was for the inaugural strawweight title, she got choked out in the 5th. And I believe in when she fought Paige Van Zandt, she choked out Paige in the 5th.
Did she start to fade at all, Rose? Or?
Rose, I would say kind of, because I feel like it's more competitive. Well, I feel like in the Esparza one, she started to fade because of like the constant takedowns. I feel like in the Van Zandt one, well, not so much, but that was mainly because Rose was the one out grappling Van Zandt at that point. So she was the hammer instead of being the nail at that point. Well, this was a more evenly matched, like on the feet, and Joanna is able to just was able to get into a rhythm, really nail her with low kicks, and then not really get hit with shots. I would still say that maybe Rose was able to land the more, at least damaging wise punches. I feel like Joanna was just unable to really get any volume in terms of her head strikes. I mean, you see Rose was kind of cut up, but Joanna definitely wore more damage on her face. But that could also just be the case of Joanna just having just more scar tissue in terms of like all her Muay Thai, or she could just have how some people just have skin that just breaks easily.
Yeah, sensitive skin.
Like Fedor. I mean, he'll always look like he got messed up even when he barely took any shots. I mean, GSP
just gets cut when he wakes up in the morning.
I know when he wakes up in the morning. Yeah.
He's like, oh damn it.
Not impressed by my defense.
He's like, they all on steroids.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's, that's the thing, because people talk about damage, but then there's damage to a point. You have to realize that some people's faces just will just wear it differently. Whereas you have a guy like BJ Penn who could get hit with like 200 shots, and
and just won't be cut.
Yeah, won't be cut. He might get knocked out, but you couldn't tell.
I don't think he's ever been knocked out.
Yeah, he has. Yair Rodriguez spinning back kick to the dome.
Wait, did he just sleep him, or was it accumulation?
Well, I guess it was like that, and then he dropped him. But then also Frankie Edgar dropped him too. But yeah, never been fully slept. He's just with that jaw.
Yeah, he's got a chin.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of to the scar tissue point, a lot of like traditional stand-up fighters that come from boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing accumulate a lot of scar tissue, and I just think because you aren't able to really change the strategy of the game, so you're gonna have more swelling in your face, as opposed to someone who just does MMA. And just the repetitive just hits you take in those sports. So I know like Marcus Davis would always cut.
Well, had huge scar tissue, or even the Nick Diaz. Actually, both the Diaz. Yeah. Well, I feel like, and especially for them, I think it's actually the same case of like Joanna. If you look at like the Diaz, they have pretty sharp features, especially like the features that you don't want to be sharp, like the eyes and then the nose, especially. And I feel like Joanna has that same thing where she has like a real it's like almost like a curve.
Really hollow cheekbones.
Exactly.
Really hollow around the eye socket.
Yeah, and then the nose that can just.
She looks like have you ever seen with like King Tut, like when they found King Tut's like body in the sarcophagus? Yeah, like his preserved body. If you look at the face, that's what Joanna looks like King Tut. Oh boy. She's like, you guys think I'm fucking around? Yeah. Just tell me
look
this.
Look it up.
No, if you were, look it up, but if you were like chilling in your house and you look out the window and you saw Joanna Jacek and her face just up against the glass, you wouldn't be scared. If you say that you wouldn't be scared, you're lying.
Yeah.
If you say that you would, you're telling the truth. Yeah, she really is the boogie woman. I don't want her I wouldn't want her under my bed or under my couch. You know what I'm saying?
Outside my window.
And then she just starts like getting in my face and throwing low kicks. The next thing you know, it's over.
No, that's how you're gonna scare your children. Like, all right, you better go to sleep, or Joanna's gonna come out and low kick you.
It's like an old just folktale in Poland. The Jacek is gonna come get you if you don't act right.
You better go to sleep.
You better go to sleep, or the Jacek is gonna come. Now moving on to the main event, man.
Yep.
And so with this one, I really want to know your opinion on just how the fight went, but then like, given just the fucking messiness of the 155-pound division at this point, like potential matchups
for it. Yeah, I feel like
So first of all, how'd it go?
So first,
this is all I have. This is my only frame of reference. I went on SureDog, and all I saw was like Khabib throwing a jab and hitting Ala Ilaquinta right in the face, and then I saw Khabib
had back mount, had him just flattened out.
Yeah, and just raining.
And because I was hanging out with a friend, and I just looked down, and I was like, oh shit, it's over. And then I was like, oh,
Khabib won.
Yeah.
So that's my only frame of reference. I didn't get to watch any highlights or anything. Sorry, viewers. I gotta be up on my shit.
No, it's all right. It's like, so for Khabib Iaquinta, the fight. So the fight starts out. Iaquinta actually shows like he got into like a real low stance, like getting ready for Khabib to shoot in on him, and then Khabib snatches like a single, and then it converts it to like a low single, and then takes him down. Just like the strength, the technique, even though it's like even though the bulldozer's coming at you, you can only do so much to stop it.
I mean, you can chain yourself to the redwood, but that redwood's coming down, you fucking hippies.
Yeah, you goddamn right.
Global warming, liberal conspiracy, if I've ever seen one.
We become InfoWars all of a sudden. Like, what the hell just happened?
There's lizard monkeys! Lizard monkeys! Obama has sex slaves!
It's the globalist scheme.
The globalist scheme of the international paradigm of hidden spirits that want to control your minds. They're gonna take all of our guns. I could go on a fucking rant. Shout out to Alex Jones.
You piece of shit.
Read between the lines.
That's right. Dana White's best friend.
Well, because they love barbecue together and turning red.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the fight. So Khabib is able to take Iaquinta down. Gets the patented ground and pound. Like from there, I mean, Khabib was just real patient, but then Al just tried to get his like counter wrestling, kept trying to get up, but then just getting paid. Like first round. So second round comes in. Iaquinta almost almost shucks off like the first single leg, but then gets taken down again. Like from there, kind of more the same, like really controlled on the ground, more ground and pound, like back mount. It's really just Khabib just being able to dominate. Like several instances where Al tries to get up, but just getting.
Oh, he couldn't get up.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh, you don't say.
Couldn't get up. Yeah, but then like third round, it's actually started more on the feet, and then Iaquinta was able to shuck, like, because he started out so low, he would only let Khabib get the singles, and he'd push off the shoulders and then almost like try and get some striking going. But then Khabib would stand like almost like really what Iaquinta was looking for was like a big right hand bomb, but then
of course that's really all he had.
Yeah, exactly. And then really he only caught him like maybe single digits. Like maybe not even like
who Iaquinta?
Like, yeah, Iaquinta did like catching. Yeah, but then like Khabib, was able to jab. I mean, not like the best striking, but I guess like Iaquinta was probably just so tired already just from like the wrestling, and I don't know if like Khabib was also tired in terms of that, or if he just decided what made him like focus, because the third and fourth round were mainly like stand up, like from that, and then also like a portion of the fifth round too was standing. So I don't know if that's just a gas tank thing, if just wanted like to stand with them, or maybe it was just like a tactical thing, like from there.
Was Iaquinta gassed though towards the end?
He was gassed for getting control, but he was like still trying to throw bombs, but he was just getting clipped. He was just talking, trying to get Khabib to engage with him, but just was unable to get it, like from there. But yeah, it was a pretty comfortable like decision win. I mean, like few instances where it kind of catches him flush, but maybe he just doesn't have the power, or didn't have the energy from there. But yeah.
I mean, he took the fight on like what, less than 24 hours notice?
Yeah, 24 hours notice. Like, yeah.
But Iaquinta had been training, or he probably wouldn't have taken it against such a dangerous opponent.
Yeah, because he was supposed to fight Felder.
Iaquinta was, right?
Iaquinta was scheduled to fight Felder. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where you can only up your stock in the UFC by taking a fight like that on short notice. And do you know what the payment that Iaquinta got for taking that fight was?
No, but probably not enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
It wasn't like he broke. He got six figures for that shit.
Yeah.
Maybe what, like 500 G's or 400.
I hope he gets paid, for that. I mean, but we can only hope, because
I mean, I think Iaquinta did something though, because I did see some pictures of his corner, and I thought he did a really smart job with who he put in his corner. There was just a bunch of grizzlies that were in his corner, and that were just
It was just some bears that had like "I hate Habib." Yeah, they had like the red circle.
Use your paws. Use your paws.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bunch of bears from Russia who just...
Here, hold on. Ender, get your ass up. Are you sleeping on the job right now?
Our cameraman trying to sleep.
Oh, you gotta monitor the camera.
It looks fine.
Our intern is lazy.
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
I was
lazy.
taking a nap.
Yeah, he's about as effective with his camera work as he is with his dating. Yeah.
Which you guys will be paying for on Patreon.
Patreon, that's right.
Next episode,
Yeah.
the main focus is gonna be get Ender a date. So we'll see. We got a couple options for you on Aurora.
Oh.
Ender.
Or Backpage.
Or Backpage.
Oh man.
Anyway.
but
you can lay down if you want to, bro.
Yeah, but that was my read, just like
Okay.
Habib. But it's like it'll be interesting to see, how just people deal with the wrestling. I mean, there's obvious holes like in the striking. Like he's just like he's so stiff and upright. Like from
Habib,
there,
yeah.
Habib in terms of his like boxing, like from there, not really throwing any kicks from there. But sometimes it just doesn't matter when you're wrestling. It's just that overwhelming.
Right.
But
You can have the fucking shittiest stand-up as long as you are able to grab a hold of a single or a double or get a upper body takedown. You're good.
yeah. And it's just similar, to what we're talking about, how, people talk about well-roundedness. I mean, that is true to a point, but at the end of the day, like, how you win is you get people into spots where you're better than them or you're in a power position, and they're unable to really do
Well,
something.
the thing that is really interesting when you watch guys fight Habib is they're just so overconscious of the takedown that they're not able to let their hands go in a meaningful way.
Yes.
So he's able to really get away with subpar stand-up. Not to say his stand-up's awful, but it sure is lacking a lot of basic foundations in terms of like turning over on his punches and just having anything that is close to, I would say high standard like kickboxing. And that goes for the rest of MMA though, but it's like
that's true. And like we're not just picking up Habib. We're just saying like if it was just tit for tat, like just striking versus striking against like most of the fighters that he fought, he would not have won like that battle. But it's not a striking battle.
Well, he did it to Iaquinta.
Yeah.
He did it to Barboza. Especially if you look at Barboza is 10 times better of a striker than
especially
Habib.
outside striking. But that's the thing. His outside striking he was never able to get it because like
I would say even inside he's better, but because of the takedown, but
just running away. Yeah.
Who do you think Habib fights next, man?
Who do you think
Ferguson?
Habib fights next?
That
Ferguson?
fight's never fucking happening. Because Ferguson needs to quit
Stop wearing sunglasses
and
indoors.
stop kicking steel pipes.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
Ender, if I ever catch you kicking a steel pipe trying to strengthen your shins or kicking a banana tree, I'll flip out. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
Leave the trees alone. Leave the pipes alone.
That's dumb.
Movie.
Yeah, no. It's
You know what else they do in movies?
Drugs.
Yeah.
You know what else they do in movies? They kill people. You're just gonna kill people now,
Yeah, you just
Ender?
gonna kill people in
God, that escalated.
Wait, yeah, no. I was gonna say they also drive, cars through buildings.
Oh,
So
yeah.
nothing
Were you just gonna...
You live your life like Fast and Furious.
Have you seen
Ender?
the other guys?
Yeah,
Try to jump off of a
They're
building.
trying to jump off a building. Aim for the bushes.
Yeah, don't aim for the bushes.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
That's
Habib
Habib
Ferguson.
Okay, so here's an interesting point. Habib doesn't want. I think Habib is probably gonna fight until the fall. What I want to see I want to see Ferguson fight. Maybe in the summertime once he heals up. There's a lot of good options. Habib Ferguson versus. They're talking about. This is just one media guy, but one matchup I would like to see: Ferguson versus Nate, and then winner of that versus Habib, or possibly, maybe some Irish gentleman versus Habib.
Yeah, and that's a good segue because I'm sure no one really gave a fuck about the fights last night, unless you're MMA purists and supporters and participants like us. What everybody in the world cared about was what McGregor did.
McGregor?
Was that Thursday, right?
Yes, Thursday.
So I don't feel like I need to go into great detail about that, but since this is Pankration Philosophy, we have to ask ourselves really critical questions about someone who behaves like that in a sport that we hold dear and is really about self-respect and about camaraderie. What happens to the sport when you have a McGregor-like character who is not only influencing the game on a technical aspect, but also just personality-wise, you know? So, as most all you know, there was an altercation between Khabib. And here's the thing that pisses me off, though.
Yeah.
Khabib and his crew didn't get a whole lot of flack for what they did to Artem.
Yeah, to Artem. Yeah.
To Artem. And it was like they initiated that, regardless of if Artem called him a pussy or whatever.
Yeah.
They ran up on him in the lobby. They pressed him, intimidated him, and then Artem called his teammates, his friends.
Yeah.
And main teammate happens to be Conor McGregor. And these are all, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but allegedly McGregor got in his G4 jet from wherever he was and flew all the way to New York.
Yeah.
And the Mac Life guys were able to let him in
The Barclays Center.
to the Barclays Center, into the loading dock where they put all the fighters on the bus and take them to. They were taking them, I think, back to the hotel.
Back to the hotel, yeah, because they had. So what happened?
They were leaving the Barclays Center.
Yeah, because the press conference had just ended.
It was right after the press conference, and then Connor and his crew of goons just fucking
West Side Story, Irish.
just straight up blitzed the bus, and chairs were thrown, a dolly was thrown,
railings
glass
were thrown.
shattered, and Michael Chiesa was cut in his forehead. Ray Borg
was blinded.
Ray Borg was not blinded. He was perfectly fine, and that was bullshit. But
We got suplex armbar.
the antics were just crazy, and so from a philosophical standpoint, we're sitting here like, what is it that attracts people in just our society in general to like assholes? Because I can't describe his behavior other than just the behavior that an asshole exhibits. It just so happens I've been reading a book called Assholes by Aaron James. It's a theory. And so essentially it's actually a really funny book. And it's about, I even read it right there. You could read it.
What does it mean for someone to be an asshole? The answer is not obvious, despite the fact that we are often stuck dealing with people for whom there is no better name. McGregor. We try to avoid them, but assholes are everywhere. At work, at home, on the road, in the public sphere, on your bus. And we struggle to comprehend why exactly someone should be acting like that. An important question for sure.
Right. So there's a couple things that I think drive, and this is what this book, just to sum up what this book talks about in the beginning, is it says that, first of all, what is an asshole? What is the definition of an asshole? Because when we have a word linguistically, we need to find out like how conceptually what does it mean, and then what are the qualifying terms for someone to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And what Aaron James says is it's someone that has an inherent and grandiose sense of entitlement.
Entitlement, okay.
Right. In our society and in any advanced society with good moral ethics, which I don't know if we can find any fucking example because humans are deplorable.
Yeah, humans are deplorable.
But
let's just talk about an ideal society.
In an ideal society, we should give everybody some sort of moral ground in which they should be treated, talked to, and engaged with, right?
Okay.
In a collaborative and cooperative manner. So that means even though I talk crap about Ender,
And I talk crap about Scott.
I extend a certain moral foundation to Ender as a human. If he were to approach me and be like, "Hey Scott, man, like, I'm gonna be honest, when you talk crap about me, that hurts my feelings." If he were to really say that,
Bullshit.
but no, just for the sake of
Ender.
just for the sake
We're
of the
talking about
thought
ideals here.
Yeah,
We're talking about, like, let's say Ender was a person.
Let's play this. Let's do this thought experiment.
All right.
In a civilized society, I would acknowledge what he said. I wouldn't try to think I'm superior to the words he said, and I would acknowledge them, and then I would change my behavior. The asshole doesn't think he has to do that at all.
Yeah.
He thinks whatever argument you're bringing against him that relates to his behavior, he can override because of his superiority.
Because he's entitled to it.
Because he's entitled to it. So what happens is the asshole circumvents all sorts of social conventions. So let's think of a social convention, right? And this is an example from this book.
Okay.
A line.
Oh, yes.
A line of people in a grocery store, right?
I don't know when the line was formed. I don't want to go back and study the history of the lines.
But lines were there.
But it's a particular order. Someone was there before you.
The first one
you went
in
behind
is
them.
the first one that goes
and
out.
now we're going to wait for our turn, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So socially, we all agree that we're going to sit in this line until we get to where we need to go or get what we need at the end of the line, right? Whatever direction it's facing.
Okay.
So each person in that line that's abiding by those social rules isn't acting like an asshole.
Yes.
But the asshole, what he does, he cuts right in front of the fucking line because
Yeah.
he feels like he can because of his sense of entitlement.
He's better than that.
Because he's better than them. So, and that can be physically, that can be his perceived sense of intelligence. So he just kind of...
There's multiple things.
There's
that could
multiple
lead
things,
to
and
an
this
asshole.
his book is really deep about it. So, in terms of McGregor, there's a couple
Yeah.
levels of assholedom that is present in the UFC right now
Yes.
that I want to talk about. But first,
I mean, McGregor is like.
let's tackle
first and
McGregor
foremost.
first.
That's like in the paramount. Right
What
now.
makes McGregor an asshole? Here's my question though.
Okay.
For Pankration Philosophy.
Yeah.
What makes McGregor an asshole? And am I wrong? Or is the assertion in this book about assholes? And we're not talking about like. Obviously, humans are complex, so I could do something really fucked up one day and then something redeemable the next. But here's the difference: that doesn't qualify me as an asshole. But an asshole is someone who will not change their behavior because that's the way they are. The sense of
That's the way
entitlement,
they are, yeah.
the looking at someone from a downward position, not acknowledging the way they're feeling, the way they think, and and feeling because you're in a particular position that they can't contribute in any
Yeah.
way. So, what makes McGregor an asshole, or is he an asshole?
Well, you can. Well, that is a good question that you bring up, and talks about in terms of entitlement, and in terms of how one presents themselves. So there's definitely that sense that you can just take a look at his actions. I mean the actions that we already talked about, like the willingness to go out of your way to attack a bus, not caring about the occupants inside, ending up getting collateral damage. I mean, that's the most recent one forefront. But then also just take a look at the action of winning a title, which he won like 500, almost over 500 days ago in 2016, and then never defending it, never feeling the need to that, jumping to a whole different sport, and then making an absurd amount of money, for sure, but then never feeling entitled. Oh, that's what other fighters do. Going back and towing the company line in terms of that, and. Yeah, I definitely see like there's definitely like asshole behavior in terms of that, feeling that he doesn't have to do those things, and I think just the sense of it's that fine, but it's that fine line between like what is confidence and then what is arrogance in terms of that. From there about how he sets himself, because at the same token. He wouldn't be at the level he is without holding himself to that regard. You know what I mean? Like I feel like yes, that there is like while assholes will put themselves in the front of the line, at the same token, like who then is at fault? I mean, yeah, the assholes are at fault for putting themselves in the front of that line, but then why do the people like behind the asshole let that happen from there, or why does society reward the asshole? Because I feel like that's really what's happening too, because like McGregor started asking for more, being entitled, thinking all this, but then he was being rewarded for it, and I feel like that reward system, like that society or the UFC was like rewarding him for being an asshole, like from there, just from all the previous action, like throwing water bottles at a press conference, like showing up with the Nate Diaz incident, always showing up late, never defending the featherweight title, having to be like he's having to be stripped of 2 titles already, his featherweight and lightweight title. Yeah, he's the first one to become, concurrent champion, but then he's also the first to be stripped of like 2 championships.
Exactly.
From there. So, yeah, it's like I feel like yeah, there are assholes, but wouldn't you agree that in this society that assholes are rewarded, or it's almost that there's really like what's the negative drawback to be an asshole?
That's a good question. I think not only. So anyway, why do I think it's rewarded is what you asked me.
Yeah, why are assholes rewarded in this culture, or just in society in general?
Well,
it's there's a lot of layers to it, but I think within our social fabric, we have to go back to a lot of things like. We're conditioned in our society to be less collaborative than other societies. So I'm comparing American society
to society
like,
as opposed to like what would you say? Is
well, like even if we look way back in our past, like indigenous egalitarian societies, and we're more, obviously more technologically advanced than those societies, but there was different values, and I think within each culture there's a certain set of values. In our culture, it is really about just American culture domination. And so when you have like a McGregor character or a Trump character, the way they insert themselves on their environment, although it isn't rational and it's rude, it's disrespectful, and it kind of is just unfair, those people just create a path. Right, they create a path because they get a lot. Yeah, they get a lot of attention.
Yeah,
they bring a lot of attention, and there's some arguments that say that's just a part of our species, but I think there's much more evidence to suggest that we're way more collaborative. But in terms of where we're at now with like the UFC and pay-per-view buys and large fan bases, there's something about the viewers and people who are a part of the MMA culture that want to see that like the trash talk and like the back and forth, because it is a microcosm for the actual physical fight that's going to occur. And I like the verbal judo, but I think there's a line to it.
But I think you like the verbal judo when it's an additive. It's like how the way I see that the trash talk and that aspect, or the debate in terms of trying to one up. That's not the forefront. I feel like that's fluff essentially.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be the focus. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because
that's how I look at it. Like I don't mind like the trash talk. That's fine. But when people like pump it up to like like almost an enhanced sense of what it is.
Right.
I feel
because there's a part of it is the psychological battle of fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
Which has always been there. That's been there before MMA.
But here's the thing: Ali, right? Was Ali not a infamous trash talker, a brash, eccentric athlete?
Yes.
He wasn't an asshole though.
What would you say was the difference?
I would say because here's the thing with Ali is Ali had a respect for just social conventions, and he also was a radical activist and just empathetic person overall. I would say McGregor has some of those traits, but more so he wants to just impose himself on the entire company. So it's fuck every other fighter. It's fuck anybody else that's trying to get in my way. And I am so big now that even the law, I'm above the law. And you've seen it recently with him, like what he did in Crumlin, where there was that altercation he got in with an Irish mobster, just reckless, right? And you've seen McGregor when he walks into venues now, it's almost like, I'll do what I want, I'll go where I want, I'll hop inside of a cage and slap a referee. Ali never did anything like that. So there's a line between verbal warfare, asserting yourself, and domination, it happens, but there's a line. And I think Conor's crossed it, and I think he embodies all the traits of an asshole, and there's nothing at this point that is redeemable about him. The same thing with John Jones. I'll say with John Jones too. Yeah. John Jones is an asshole.
Definitely an asshole.
And as martial artists, we don't have to make excuses for that behavior, because we want to preserve the humble, hardworking, and spiritual aspects of our sport, because there's already so many negative assumptions about it. But I would say that's what makes Conor an asshole. Yeah, is just this. Even when you see him, you can just tell with his posture when he's like got arrested and he's being taken to court in New York. It's almost just like he's setting himself up for the next fight. He just doesn't give a fuck. And the other thing too is
he thinks he's untouchable at that point.
He thinks he's untouchable. So he doesn't have to acknowledge anybody because of his sense of entitlement. He believes he doesn't have to respect the opinions of others. He'll do what he wants anyway because he is this super charismatic, super talented individual. So he doesn't have to have any social responsibility, which I think is disgusting on a lot of levels. But the UFC also rewards that behavior. You've seen how you've had we can use Demetrius Johnson as an example. You and I both know him personally.
Who's that? That's a good question.
Exactly. How many times has he defended the title?
11 times.
11 times, right? Is he anywhere close to the net worth
No.
of McGregor?
Not even scratching it.
Right, and it's because of that brashness, that disrespect, that assholeness that's not in Demetrius Johnson as a human, right? He's a competitor. He understands he needs to dominate in his sport to be victorious, but he doesn't.
Of his character was.
His character,
yeah.
he's far more collaborative than a McGregor would be. And now you see there's been a cultural shift in the UFC, like the Colby Covingtons and all these random people just who are horrible at trash talking,
and
starting to trash talk.
Yes.
And it's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? So that's, I think, if we were to give like all the qualifiers of assholeness, like if we were to look at them and do a checklist, McGregor is on. He hits all of them.
So then, but then, what does that say though? Still about our society, in terms of rewarding that? Because there's the, like, so why? Because that just brings up, because I think about this too. Why does our society, or why are those kinds of people like rewarded? Is it just because they're, the loudest voice, so they happen to get the most attention from there? Because like you said, Colby Covington, horrible trash talk, horrible, just overall horrible person, really. But now he's getting, he's fighting for the interim title against RDA. You know that? Yeah. So he's being rewarded for being an asshole and for, having the reading level of a fourth grader, really? I mean, if that might be insulting to a fourth grader, but
there's some pretty smart fourth graders out there.
Yeah.
We can just say he's an egghead. I mean, what he did is and it's almost different than like Chael Sonnen.
Because I feel like, okay, so with Chael, he said ridiculous stuff, but I feel it's all he's like,
didn't he get busted for money laundering?
Yeah, he got busted for money laundering. That's how he, as a politician, or for like real estate as well. But but I feel like, okay, so Chael Sonnen, he thinks a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I see Chael Sonnen. I see that's an intelligent, calculating guy. Like, he's not a fool. I mean, I don't really, like, there's maybe some ideas I don't agree with. I don't necessarily respect some of the things that he does, but I know that, like, it's calculated. Like, he thinks about it. He puts a lot of thought. He says it for a purpose. I don't really get that sense with Covington. I feel like he's just like, he's just like that.
Well, he's a fucking racist too, because he went out there and he was just straight up like, he said that, he was addressing the crowd in Brazil and said they're animals, they're this, they're that. And so what he's doing is he's crossing this line of, based on history, based on just being any type of intellectual analysis, that we don't condone people using words and phrases like that to dehumanize other people. And he's done that for his own personal notoriety. So he, in fact, to me, is an asshole. Chael Sonnen, not so much, right? I don't know the extent of his money laundering charges, if that impacted the lives of others in kind of, so it could exemplify or raise his personal status. That's assholeness. McGregor, at this point, based on what he did on Thursday, it injured other people, impacted their career, and showed disregard for everybody around but himself and his friend. Yeah, blinded Ray Borg. His
eyes will never be the same.
That's assholeness. But I don't know, why do they get rewarded? I just think it's hard. There's no simple answer for that. I just think that has been our example in American society, whether it be the military, whether it be economics. It's all about ensuring maximum profit and not really thinking about the impacts of what we need to do to get ours, right?
Yeah. People like, the ends justify the means. They're willing to overstep the line because they know no one's going to stop them from doing
exactly. And so and that's perfect. I'm glad you said that, because it makes sense why some of these moguls and kind of like cutthroat
ruthlessness,
we're kind of
apathetic.
We're in. And were sympathetic and actually gave dollars to support fighting. Think about Donald Trump and how he was in boxing. Think about Don King. Yeah, there's so many other.
There's something about that just attracts
about fighting,
about these kind of people.
Right,
that's true.
And it's not, you can't just like because there's so many different humans involved in fighting. You can't just, and cultures also dictate the way fighting plays out. Like we know that. Well, I was gonna say pride, but I'm not gonna sit here and say pride. It was Ender, man, this better not. You're creeping away. Yeah.
It's legit. There might be people trying to stop Pankration Philosophy. I can't let that
No one can stop Pankration
No one can
Philosophy.
stop us. We'll dominate our surroundings.
They cannot kill an idea.
So, yeah,
They
I
can
think.
kill our voices, but they can't kill an idea.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no. Hope no one
But
tries to.
you're talking about pride though, and like, what do you think? Like,
Well, I had to catch myself because I remember hearing there were like the
it's
fucking
really
Yakuza.
funny by the Yakuza. but I know I get what you're saying. Like at that point, like the fighting was for pride. I feel like the Japanese culture, in terms of it, really, it's not about the. I mean, that brashness is thought of, but what's more important was like the warrior spirit in terms of like they like losses, like you could still lose in Japan, but they would still bring you on if you showed yourself, if you showed good character in that
Right, and think about it, like, and there was always exceptions to the rule, but like I just thought about McGregor when he was talking to Mendez, and he's like out at that press conference, the one for when he was supposed to fight, what's his name?
Aldo?
No, Rafael.
Oh, Dos Anjos?
He's supposed to fight Dos Anjos, and he like turns around and looks at Mendez and is like, "Well, when I hit you, you curled up like a bitch." It's like.
Yeah. You don't need it.
It's like you don't need to say that at all. So
Yeah.
there's something about the value system and just what is being rewarded, what behavior is being rewarded in the UFC right now, and it's for promotion, it's for marketing, it's because there's something in us that likes to see that. Not either we revolt, we're thinking, we look at it and it's revolting, or we think that's the way you should conduct yourself. But I want to talk. Do you have anything else to say about McGregor and his asshole?
No, McGregor's an asshole.
I want to talk about the visit of the UFC fighters
to Wall Street. Okay.
I just want to know. I have a lot of fucking crazy thoughts about that.
Okay,
and actually an excerpt from this book.
Oh, okay.
I think it relates to what we were just talking about. Is like the whole dominating
and then overstepping the line and I mean, that's what Wall Street is.
Yeah.
Wall Street is just a bunch of it's just a collection of the largest organized crime of white collar criminals.
Exactly. And what do they thrive on? The law of maximum profit.
Yes.
And so we have all sorts of really disgusting things that are profited upon on Wall Street and are publicly traded, and some of that is actually student debt. Think about commodities that are traded on the market, and we know green energy is making a come up right now. But also we have like big oil companies that are public, and stocks are being traded. But they're
just look at throughout history. That's how that's how the electric car got killed. That's how all these green energy sources get killed. So
it's literally. If dominate, like the principle of domination, especially in an economic context, what it says fuck everything, even that which gives you life.
Yeah.
Fuck other humans. Fuck the planet.
That's true. Get money.
Fuck bitches.
Fuck bitches. No, it's like
fuck bitches.
No, but they're literally fucking the world over just so they can get profit.
Right.
But that's the thing. It's like it's gone to the sense where they don't need to think about the world. They're just thinking about themselves at that point. Because it's not like people go out of their way to be inherently evil, at that point. But they position their goals where they don't have to empathize, or they don't have to sympathize.
No, because what you've done is you've quantified. You haven't qualified. You've quantified just life in general.
Yes.
So
how much it's worth.
How much it's worth, and it's like then what you do is you take the externalities of a business decision, even if that's human life, that's an ecosystem, or that's just keeping communities together, and you go, well, that's an externality we're going to have to accept so we can uphold the maximum amount of money we're going to make on our investment. In the book actually talks about this, and so here's my thing. Here's the UFC Wall Street connection. We good? Are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't fuck. I swear to God, you motherfucker. No,
I am better than you.
I am better than you. What you have here, and even it's awful, dude. Did you see any of the excerpts of those fighters on Wall Street?
No,
dude.
But you were telling me about
what Tyrone Woodley said. He's like, I'm gonna ring this bell, and I'm gonna ring my opponent in the cage. Dude, hold on. I want to pull it up right now. Let's watch it. And for the viewers at home, you can pull it up too.
That's so cringy. I mean, we're talking about bad trash talk.
Let's see here. UFC on Wall Street. I posted on DJ's Instagram. I was like, oh, what is this mouse on Wall Street?
Where is it? Oh, you can't find it. I can't find it.
It's okay. It's cringe.
God damn it, Scott.
You shut up, Ender.
UFC, Wall Street. Yeah, but when Woodley said that, I was like, bro,
Stop.
just stop. Don't. No more. Video, Wall Street on alert. Yeah, well, fuck it.
It's okay.
You can look it up.
Yeah.
6 champs. Here's an article on it.
Okay.
Who were those champs?
So,
6 champs will ring the bell.
So it was Woodley, DC, Stipe, DJ. Was Whitaker there?
Mm-hmm.
And then who else? Oh, Amanda Nunes.
And the stock market's fucking tanking right now because of Trump's tariffs on China. They're just like, yeah. But it's this section from the book kind of talks about the ultra competitive nature of Wall Street and how we don't focus on like collaborative principles. And here's the thing about, I kind of have like an anarchist view of martial arts. Mm-hmm. This is how I think about it.
Okay.
I think if I make you better, I'm gonna get better.
Okay.
If I dominate you and beat you every time in practice, I'm not getting better.
Which is what happens.
So what I have to do is help you raise your level of performance by making you better. I make myself better, right? And that's obviously something that isn't talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you like do the fucking embedded or the all access UFC shows highlight all the different training partners. I mean, it takes a good athlete to point out all the people that made him better. But that's really what it's about.
No, but that's how learning occurs, you know, or that's how.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good point you bring up, because in martial arts you don't just grow alone. You grow with others, and others are essential to your growth.
Exactly.
And I feel like that collaborativeness is important, you know, because it's. Well, you become, you know, who you surround yourself with, right? And if you're in a good, I feel like right now I'm in a great training environment because I have people, you know, not just like yourself, but people who are of open mind and also willing to share their techniques. They're willing to, they're really willing to grow in themselves and understand it's not just about winning, it's about overall growth. And I agree with that notion too. I feel like if you do something and I ask you, you're willing to share on me, and if I'm able to do something that gets success and you ask me, I'm very open to sharing it with you, because what do I have to gain by hiding it from you, and what do you have to gain by hiding it from me? It makes no sense. It's like, no, these are all mine.
You're wrong. You're wrong, Pocholo.
Yeah.
If you're an economist, what you should do is hide everything. Hide everything and run. Get the money and run. Fuck everybody.
What do you do with the magic bean?
So I think the whole UFC thing and the Wall Street blend is really about ultra competitiveness and domination. And this excerpt explains it better from this book, explains it better than I can. And this is the section of this is called corporate assholes.
Corporate. I mean, it's important. That's what they are. That's the pinnacle. But.
So this is what Aaron James says. The ultra competitive stock trading ethos, it seems, was carried over into how the traders played laboratory games. It's about a study and how they took a bunch of stock traders and had them play this game where they had to like equally distribute things, and they fucking hoarded it. Of course. And would anyone
Trade
be
secrets.
surprised to see it crop up elsewhere? Accordingly, once the right or wrong culture settles in, the asshole population can expand.
Yeah.
Consider, for instance, the expectations that corporations are required to maximize shareholder value because they have a fiduciary duty to investors. If this is really a duty only to investors, it follows that there is a duty to minimize benefits overall to consumers and workers. That is to say, a duty to offer the bare minimum incentive required to get them to buy a product or show up to work. Many corporate heads will pull back from this, seeing that something is amiss. The asshole CEO will embrace his duty with moral gusto, sensing an otherwise forbidden rush of power and profits lie ahead. Others who are not already assholes will nevertheless get comfortable with this behavior. Trying to keep up with it or beat the pack. As this is repeated across thousands of boardrooms and CEO offices, being steadily reinforced with oft-repeated suggestions of how all this works to the greater good. Assholes grow and flower. The way of the asshole can thus become the normal way. And so, like, yeah, I think if you have people who are just cutthroat on the
stock market and are doing whatever to maximize profits, and you're telling athletes that they have to just say fuck you to everyone and get theirs, it's going to become the norm. And that's what's happening in the UFC right now.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, because that's what shows, because everyone's seeing how assholes prosper. Some people go, oh well, I should become an asshole because that's how I'll prosper.
Exactly.
From there, but that's a good connection from there. But I think. Going back, to your philosophy, like on martial arts, I think, I mean, unless you have something more to say about.
No, I have nothing.
But I feel like that's what, that's why I was fortunate, to come across you and other martial artists who think in that same way about that, that collaborative mindset of the sharing, because I felt, I learned the most. I learned the most from my training partners. It's just how it goes. But I feel like it's always that notion where we're not trying to one up like one another in terms of that, or trying to hide from there, because I feel like that's not an environment where you're gonna succeed. I feel like in the gym, like from there, I'm not gonna hide things. Oh yeah, I'm gonna beat Scott. Like from there, It's like because like what's the use of that? I feel like. And I feel especially that's why amongst my training partners there are like I'm not gonna train with assholes, like it's because it's no point.
And this is a perfect segue.
Yeah, no.
This is a perfect segue to what our next topic is.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like that's what you're
asshole. No, asshole. Yeah. Now we've talked about the broader asshole culture in society, and we could probably write a fucking book about it. There was a book written about it
in this general society.
If you guys have some extra dough, please pick up this book. I'm working my way through it. Assholes, A Theory by Aaron James. It's great and profound. So now we're going to talk about...
How many sponsors do you guys have on this episode?
Shut up, Ender.
Ender, we don't have any sponsors. If we had sponsors, you would be paid. Yeah. Actually, if we had sponsors, I'd take all the money.
Yeah. If we had sponsors, we'd have a better cameraman. That's what happened. Anyway, continue, Scott.
Dude, the door just gets kicked down and fucking the feds point guns at us. Who said sharing, you communist fucks? Dude, you just get lit up.
Remember us.
A picture of Che Guevara falls out of it.
Pankration Philosophy.
So... I almost want Ender to come on the other side and talk about this, but...
I can take a nap on that table behind you.
Shut up, Ender. You're not taking a nap. Stay on that side. Stay awake.
Damn it. I'm freezing your wages for the rest of the time that I know you, which means I'm never going to fucking pay you.
Talking about...
So we're on the topic of asshole culture.
Yeah.
And we all train at a MMA gym here. What are some traits of an asshole gym partner in an MMA gym, or an asshole training partner in an MMA gym? I'm just trying to... What are some things to like watch out for, and what are some behaviors that we need to reflect upon to make sure we don't engage to become asshole training partners? Because that's another part of this book, is to ask you to analyze like what are your asshole behavior traits. How are you being an asshole?
Yeah, and I feel with that, I mean the biggest thing is not listening to training partners, like from there, being I'd say like going needlessly hard or being needlessly competitive, and by that, like if you're grappling, just always going for the tap, or always going for submissions, trying to hurt people, in the sense like going like almost overexerting yourself just to win. In terms of striking, needlessly like hitting somebody hard, and by needlessly I feel like in sparring situations, you can connect, but there's no need to just sock somebody, as hard as you can, or being a bad training partner and just having an unrealistic sense of volume, and by that I mean if you're trying to get like a rhythm, this is going like super fast, like trying to get like some speed from there. I mean we've trained so much, we can sense these behaviors, like someone who's just selfish, someone who's just pretty much just looking out there to win, because that's not how training should be. You're not looking out to win, you're looking like... Improvement doesn't come from just working on what you're already good at. You have to put yourselves in problem. You almost have to take a step back in terms of like how you of how hard you're going or like what you know already. You have to work on things you're not good at. That's how you improve upon it. But I feel like an asshole is just gonna be there like, oh, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna hit that guy, I will sub that guy, he went down like a bitch, you know. From there, it's just like someone who's just there for themselves, who's very egocentric and is not there to help others. I think that's the biggest thing, because they're just held to help themselves. But the funny thing is, it's hard to help yourself if no one's willing to help you from there, because that's how I feel. I feel like the greatest point of growth was like I had good coaches, I had good training partners. I was in an environment that allowed me to grow because I had people that were able to show me what I was doing wrong, whether it was an instructor telling me, oh, you need to do this better, or a training partner, oh, I see you doing this. I feel like that it's that collaboration, I mean, I am one person, but me as a one person grew because of all the people that I interacted with. I interacted with you. I mean, maybe even I interacted with Ender, and then somehow got some growth like from there, because that's how it occurs. Because that's good training partners benefit other good training partners, whereas an asshole benefits no one, especially themselves.
Was that always your mentality?
I
or
feel
did you develop that over time?
I feel like that developed over time, but yeah.
I feel like I did not have a lot of control when I first started training combat sports.
Yeah.
And I caught a lot of flack for it, like just I would go hard, or I would go too hard. I would throw knees when it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I think, to being honest, it was just my competitive nature that got the better of me. And in training for fights, I was really anxious, so I felt like if I didn't land this technique this way or put the pressure on someone this way, I wasn't going to do it in a fight. But I can see now in hindsight and upon further reflection that like I did go too hard sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I know that I've been there, or I was there like as well, seeing that. And I don't think that was always my mentality, or I think I thought about it. I remember like right when I went into it, I think I was more really just looking, because I didn't compete right away from there. I was just really looking to learn, and I felt like me not being as competitive like start out with helps me in my competition now, because I understand that the competition is not between me and somebody else. The competition is within me to grow, and that's what's gonna dictate how I'm gonna do in a fight, not just what I do outwardly. It's what I think inwardly and how I'm able to express that from there. But I think I learned that a lot from you. I learned that a lot from another one of our training partners, Joel, just seeing how you guys like competed. And I mean, it was like we didn't necessarily know better in terms of going hard. That's just how we did. But I felt like over time I see like, wait, I don't need to damage myself as much to learn. In fact, if anything, by damaging myself less, I learn more. So I'm like, well, then isn't my purpose here to learn? So then don't I want to take the least amount, or at least there's always gonna be a danger sense. It's just what we do. Right. But I feel like I don't need to put myself, that's why I talk about needless danger. I need to put myself in a needless sense of risk, where I can lessen that risk and increase my growth. Exactly. And that's kind of, I don't know how recently I get it, but I'm glad I got to that point without having, getting myself injured or injuring my training partners like from there.
Right, and I feel like I'm there now, and I wasn't before. Yeah. And one thing I will say that makes someone an asshole training partner is if they're intentionally trying to hurt you in training, or they're intentionally picking it up when you're tired, or cranking on something too hard. It's just at that point, it's just all about the ego, and you shouldn't train with that person. If
and you know people like this,
I'm telling you, and that's where you need to drop your ego. If you're gonna go with someone that is gonna possibly concuss you or hurt you, you shouldn't train with them.
Don't train with them.
Don't train with them at all.
Yeah.
And then just use some micro social power and avoid that person, and then everyone else will start avoiding them. And because here's the thing. Now we know, and the science backs that training hard doesn't necessarily give you the progression that you need. It actually delays it. Exactly. And there's no proof that if you get rocked in the gym, it's gonna help your ability to recover from getting rocked in a fight. It actually lessens it just based on like getting concussed and things like that. So first of all, like,
if you're gonna pick it up on your training partners, it shouldn't be with heavy shots. It should just be with pace.
Yeah,
it should just be
pace,
explosive, but it should be controlled. And it took me a while to learn that, and now I'm trying to refine that in my training sessions. Not for myself as much anymore. Well, it is for me because I don't want to get injured, but it's for the people I train with because I want them to become better.
Yeah. But at the same token, though, you trust those people, knowing that they read that, understanding that. If you pick it up on me, I know you're not there trying to hurt me. I know you're trying to push me there. And the same, with you, when I go with others too. I'm not pushing because they a bitch and I'm dominating.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing that because I know maybe that's what they need from there. Or I'm doing it in a controlled sense where I know I'm not gonna hurt them at that point. But I think that's a great point you bring up. If you feel like you're training with an asshole, you probably are, and you don't need to train with that person.
No,
it's like there's no point. Like for me, if an asshole comes up and just try someone I know and I just understand how they go, I mean I won't train with that person.
It's over.
And legit, I know right now there are assholes at the. I mean it just happens. They're there. I mean.
No, I know. There's people who come up to me and they're like. And it's like they've shown me nothing that makes me want to train with them. But they want my time, they want my energy and my technique. Yeah. And it's like I'm not trying to withhold it because I want to be better than them. It's just like I don't feel like they're gonna do what's right with it.
Exactly.
And so it takes time to build trust with training partners.
Yeah.
And since I came back to AMC, I have a core group of guys that I work with because I trust them.
Yes.
And so at the end of the day, when someone comes up to me and I know that I've seen them kicking the shit out of someone needlessly, even if they have a fight, I just know that's not going to do anything. I'm just gonna, and it's not about ego, because at the end of the day, it's about helping each other get better. And I think at our gym, AMC, the culture of that type of training, it's the hardcore training has changed significantly, and we have a world champion at our gym. So again, that's another more proof. And we have a really deep and successful amateur team that the methodology of training hard to win a fight, training hard in risking injury to win a fight, that doesn't work.
Exactly. And by training hard, what we mean is like hard sparring, pretty much putting almost 100% into your shots, especially trauma to the head, from there. That's not going to benefit you.
No.
From there, getting like Scott just said earlier, getting rocked in the gym is not going to help you getting rocked in the fight.
Nope. Look at all the guys from Shootbox. If you need more evidence,
exactly.
Look at Shogun.
Shogun's barely even 30, and he's like,
his face is all droopy, fuck, dude.
Yeah. Vanderlei looks like a walking plastic surgery experiment.
Damn, dude.
It's and
those guys had some hard fights, but they're infamous for their gym wars. All the guys from Team Quest, minus Hendo, because he's
a freak among freaks, and TRT. But
man. So,
but no, it doesn't if you're watching this and you train yourself, you really have to analyze your training partners, because it's not. I mean, not just for your own benefit, but you are gambling with your health. It's true. And then if you go with someone who doesn't have your interest or isn't concerned about your safety, why do that? Because you can get injured in the best of circumstances.
Right.
Why would you put yourself in that's like putting yourself in a car with no airbags, or putting yourself in an Uber with no airbags with a guy who has a bomb strapped to his chest. You're just going to go have a bad time eventually.
That's going to be the worst time. So now I have another thing about assholes in the gym. Ender, where are we at for time, dude?
13 minutes.
Okay. So I got another thing for assholeness. And so at gyms, there's people with wide variety of experiences, upbringings, and opinions, political, religious, all that. Try not to bring that shit into the gym. If you bring that shit into the gym and you assert your position on someone, you would be considered an asshole. For example, at our gym, some asshole decided to stand in a ring and take a picture with a Trump shirt. And Donald Trump, whatever you think about him, I really don't give a fuck. I know what I think about him. He's a divisive individual, especially in our current political climate. So asshole move, keep the politics out of it. If you want to talk quietly with someone about that, go ahead, but just keep it out of the gym. We're all just trying to be better martial artists. No need to get in arguments and stuff like that in the gym. Other thing, training with a member of the opposite sex. Don't be a fucking creep. If you start doing Ender.
Keep going. Hey, he came back really fast with that. But anyway, continue.
Here's the other thing. be respectful. Treat that person like any other martial artist, right?
Because they are a martial artist.
They are martial artists, and the thing is don't avoid someone of the opposite sex in sparring. Spar whoever, because they're a body and they're there to work.
Yeah.
I've heard women that I've trained with tell me creepy stories about what guys do in the gym or say in the gym, and it's just no, man. Keep like the sexist comments out of there. Don't say something inappropriate in front of a woman. Don't do that. Keep that shit to yourself. Here's the other thing: don't ask somebody about their sexual preference or anything like that. Don't go around the gym saying faggot and stuff like that either. We don't want that in our environment. That stuff is asshole-ish, so asshole-ish.
Yeah.
Asshole-niche. I'll make up words.
A niche.
Yeah, it's a real niche asshole trait to do that. Because what we want in MMA training and in martial arts training is we want every single person to feel welcome, right? And we want to help whoever comes in through the door at our gym, especially feel welcome. And the thing is also don't be an asshole and insert your opinion. Like that goes for technique. Don't force it.
Well, let me tell you something, Scott, about that. Yeah, if someone
There's always that guy.
There's that guy. But if someone, if no one asks for your opinion, they probably didn't want it.
Yeah, exactly. That goes for technique. That goes for anything in the world.
Yeah.
Just keep that shit to your fucking self. But before you call out the assholeness in someone else, pick out the assholeness in yourself and remove it.
Yeah.
Right? Take the asshole plank out of your own eye before you take out the asshole speck in your sister or brothers. So everybody, our lesson for today is don't be an asshole in the gym. Don't encourage or glamorize or worship asshole behavior in our society. Let's try to call it out. Let's try to do better ourselves, especially in the MMA world and in MMA gyms. Let's make them welcoming environments where people of all ages, races, creeds, whatever sexual preference or gender identity feel welcome. I don't care. If a transgender person were to come in and train, let that person come in and train. You know what I'm saying? Let it be what it's going to be.
And really just check, like look into yourself. It's like, how would you want to be treated that way? From there, or like what makes you, why would you treat someone like that? And I feel like, and also back into what you're talking about, and when people ask you for your knowledge and stuff like that, and just understand like what that person would do with it. I feel like if when you're trying to be part of a team, you have to understand like you can't. Like you have to pretty much show that you want to be part of a team. You can't just like all of a sudden, all right, here I am, star player, let's go, give it to me. Like that's not how that works.
That happens a lot, man.
And that does. I mean, you have to put in the work. Like, and that's the thing. That's why, when I look at who I'm training with or who I give information wise, it's not like it's people like, once again, like the same thing that Scott said. It's people I know that will use it. People I know that will not only help me but will help others. In terms, it's like it's people I trust. Like at the end of the day, and I try, because they're not just good martial artists. They're good people, and that's the thing at the forefront. If you're a good person, that should go out throughout what you do from there. So I think at the end of the day,
and that's why I don't show Ender any of my techniques, because that guy is going to use them for wrong. He's going to commit crimes with them.
Like chokes me 3 times.
That's why I just don't trust Ender. And if anybody
better than him.
If anybody meets Ender at any martial arts gym in Washington, don't let him train, because he is an asshole. He's an asshole.
That's the lesson of
that's one thing. I see Ender like grabbing people just talking mad shit.
No, really.
All constantly.
When I came back, everyone was welcoming, like, Scott, welcome back. It's good to have you. Glad that you're back. And then Ender just starts disrespecting the fuck out of me.
Roast left and right.
No, I just couldn't take it.
He goes like, oh, Scott, you still walking? I'm surprised because you're so damn old.
Just.
Old McDonald out up on.
Oh man, see, look at this.
Oh, I haven't heard that one before. In my 29 years of life, I haven't heard that.
Sitting on that, man.
Oh man, jeez. So in essence, don't be an asshole.
Don't be an asshole, guys.
Yeah.
Don't be an.
And we'll be back next week for more stuff.
Yep.